Hello and welcome back to Become a God. Last time I took King Dan's list for a spin, his green mid-range, and it didn't really work out for me. So this time I'm going to use Happyjo's Red Rush that was used in the recent Aurora Open. A Red Rush is always a solid deck to climb with. It's quick. Well, in most cases it's quick. You can get quick games going. Rush decks are great for climbing simply for that fact. You get lots of games that either end very quickly or you win very quickly. You get rack up those stars and get to God rank. So Red Rush I haven't played in a while. I do like the build with the Queen's Guard and the Imperial Drain, so I'm looking forward to piloting this. So let's get into our first match and see how it performs. Alright guys, into our first match. I am gonna smoke, that is for sure. I'm gonna keep this Imperial Drain actually. The Grim Guard though, I'm not sure about. I think I throw the Grim Guard because I'd rather find a Mace Man or a Queen's Guard. Queen's Guard being a fantastic opener in Red Rush. And yeah, we're just going to go in. We can get this Queen's Guard down early, lock out the Faeria wells with the Imperial Drain, and just make life generally difficult for my opponent. We don't even have to play Imperial Drain just yet, we can wait. So we want to get as many ticks of this as possible. The best way to do that is wait until an actual Faeria Harvester shows up. And when we put Imperial Drain down, this kind of gives us the luxury of just going to the orb here, instead of having to trade with or just clear out creatures. So it feels kind of good so far. You know, we're going to get Imperial Drain down, we're going to hit, we're going to go up to 4 Faeria, going to get my first mountain, I'm going to be able to pass. Maybe play a Mace Man if I pick one up. I'll consider it depending on what my opponent decides to drop. But this is a really oppressive start for my opponent to deal with, especially as a blue player. He might be playing a Gem Shell, I don't know yet. We'll see what the next land is. But a creature that generates Faeria, that taunts with high life with the Imperial Drain coming behind it, it's just such a problem. This is what Red Rush does pretty well. You know, if it can get this kind of start, it can snowball really hard in not only Faeria advantage, but just make things very difficult for my opponent. So it's just going to be that. So it looks like Mace Man does just come off the top here, and I'm able to just hit, play the Mace Man, or the Face Man as he's like to be called. Play that Imperial Drain. I actually didn't need to play the Imperial Drain this turn. I don't know why I did it, and my opponent's just going to concede this. So first game out of the way very, very quickly. We have a rank up as well. First win of the day. Oh, that's interesting, because I played earlier, so it's... Oh yeah, I didn't even win a game earlier, so there's a reason I'm playing Red Rush right now. I was playing a Blue Jump, I was practicing before my video, and I just got bopped. That's why I was in rank 5. So this is actually my first win today, even though I have played a bit. So yeah, first easy win there for Red Rush. Pretty much a god opener against any kind of slow deck. Let's get into our next match and carry on. Alright guys, into another match here. I'm going to take the Axe Grinder for sure. I've got the Explore so I can kind of push up very quickly. And I also have the Imperial Drain once again. It's pretty good. Like, this is pretty good for me to draw as long as I only draw one of them. And the deck does run free, so it is quite a consistent card to show up. And my opponent's going to say hi. Mountain comes down into the Rakoan Reveler. So this could be green-red, potentially. That's what I'm thinking. Let's take the double neutral. So Imperial Drain I'm going to keep hold of just for the moment. Because I don't feel like I don't feel too threatened by this, if I'm honest. So Elderwood Embrace is actually really bad. So I am going to take this. Maybe I do Imperial Drain now. So many Axe Grinders. It's worth me actually just exploring Mountain here, to be honest, because I have so many Axe Grinders in hand. Maybe I keep a hold of this for now. I'll wait till another Harvester comes out. Then again, my opponent might not. You know, I want to keep this because I feel that my opponent might go into double collection. I mean, yeah, I'm going to keep it for this turn. I'm probably, if my opponent plays a creature here, for example, we'll see what happens. It's going to be an Axe Grinder, okay. So Imperial Drain's a little better, I guess. We could go Explore into Mountain. And then we could Drain, pass, then Flameburst, Axe Grinder. And just wait for the follow-up turn so we can get this Axe Grinder down quite safely. Unless I want to go for the Axe Grinder now and I don't really care about the trade. I think I'm just going to do this. I'm going to wait for the Flame Burst. So locking out double collection here from my opponent. I can go for the Flame Burst on this target then, and then I can decide what to do next. Like a mountain here would be quite nice. I'm hoping to pick up something like a Queen's Guard. Decide to go for the outer mounting. I'm going to go for Cypher Blood Tyrant. It's a little problematic. Not going to lie. What do I need? I need a Ground Shaker. I need to be able to kind of Flame Burst this, Ground Shaker this side, and then maybe Axe Grinder on this side. That would work out really nice. I'm drawn like a god today, guys. I say a card and it shows up on the top. Alright, alright. We're doing good, we're doing good. So let's see. Because it's Elderwood Embrace is a little rough here, to be honest, but I want to start applying that pressure. And he might decide to Elderwood the Cypher, actually. Depends what Cypher does. Like, if Cypher moves here, and then Elderwood Embrace comes down, and then clears the Ground Shaker, I could be in a bit of trouble. But it very much depends how much life is going to be left over, because I am going to do 5 damage. So this will kill. It'll be 4 life left over. So I'll be able... Oh, actually, no, there's 6... So it'll be 5 life. So actually, I'll be off by 1. It's gonna double Flame Burst. Yeah, okay. Cypher just gonna shimmy up there. Take the Faeria into Cypher's Wrath. Okay. Imperial Drain is gone. I'm actually not getting the value from Axe Grinder here. Maybe because I didn't commit to it. Maybe just stick one here and try and just control the right hand side. Yeah, let's do that. I kind of wish I had 6 Faeria there, because I feel like going Mountain double Axe Grinder would have been quite tasty on the right hand side here. But this Axe Grinder is just going to control this region. Getting close to Crackles as well. Crackle could be problematic in the future. It could be... No, it's just going to be a pass. Alright, so we are still collecting off this ourselves, so I'll take a draw. No, I'll go for Ground Shaker. Just going to gear up a Crack Fawn for next turn. Let's Imperial Drain, just because it might just soak up a few of the Crack Fawn pings. Just make things a little more awkward for my opponent. Now, I quite like land here from my opponent into Crack Fawn because it allows this to block, and then you can shimmy the Cypher over to the side and just make things a little bit more awkward for me. Oh, is Crackle's gonna come here? Okay, I think that's fine too, actually. Oh, that works out really nice for me. Oh my goodness. I really wish these two were the other way around. You can't get what you want all the time. So this I have to respect now so much. I don't want to build land here, because if my opponent wants a Crack Fawn, he has to build land himself. Let's just land here. Now, how do I go about this? I'm thinking of just trading these guys off, then going for Gift of Steel and just hitting the orb and just punching that 8 damage in. Because I could trade with this, but you know, I'm not too happy with that idea. Because he's used double Flame Burst already. Like, the worst thing that could happen to me right now is collect Flame Burst Cypher's Wrath. That would be really bad. But because my opponent's already used 2 Flame Bursts, I'm willing to just push the 8 damage and just basically just force the Cypher to clear. Now, I am very vulnerable to something like Elderwood Embrace. Elderwood Embrace would be pretty catastrophic here, but I am a rush player. I do need to take those kind of high risk, high reward lines. So the Elderwood Embrace, pretty sad here, to be honest, but sure, I might just have to go into double collection. This Crystal Flower when you need it. I think I didn't make the perfect decisions here. I think I made a few mistakes along the way. I mean, like, my turns where I decided, this kind of region here, when we played here, this is where things started to get a bit hairy for me. Now, Cypher was always going to be a problem, but managing Cyphers can be quite difficult. Gonna go for double Cyphers, okay. Oh, that move. Get the Mace Man down. So Horsemaster's pretty tasty here. Just like slap a Horsemaster here, rush across, clear this out, and then double collecting on the following turn. If I can get this 4 damage in next turn, no, the Flame Bursts are going to be really handy. I can just keep drawing cards for the rest of the game. Just try and get that burst damage. I have 2 Ground Shakers left as well. I have 3 Cypher's Wrath, so I still have a lot of burn just through my chip damage. And it can add up if I can keep my opponent on the back foot, keep him defending, and just keep drawing until I find that burst. But I am on a bit of a clock because once my opponent stabilizes, you know, a Crackthorn Beast down here could be very devastating. So a draw does come off. Is that Horsemaster off the top there? Oh, please. Say it ain't so. Say that ain't a Horsemaster. I'll even take a Rakoan Reveler here, and then hopefully I just rip a Cypher's Wrath and burn it out. Oh, this is going to move into collection. Go to 4 Faeria. What could we see with 4 Faeria? I Gift of Steel this if there's no blockers, because that sets up lethal. So setting up lethal with Gift of Steel here if I'm able to punch that damage. But we'll have to see what our opponent gets up to. That move from the Cypher there was just so crucial for me. Because without it, I don't think I would have been able to win this game. Yeah, oh, feels good. So Gift of Steel. Punch that ticket home, take a draw, why not? Imperial Drain, not going to be relevant here. Actually, Imperial Drain... So, Imperial Drain, if Cypher was here, I could have played Imperial Drain to stop a Horsemaster play, but it's not going to happen. Horsemaster is only going to take Cypher to this spot, and there's not going to be any other forms of mobility. So one thing to consider, like in this position, if Cypher was on this tile, Imperial Drain would be the perfect block to stop a Horsemaster lethal. Wood Elemental, takes the Forest. Yeah, gonna clear him out. This game was looking really, really hard for me. Oh no, there's a heals! Oh no. Oh no, heals. Alright, I'm drawing, guys. Just drawing cards. Grimguard's good. Grimguard is good, but where do I want to put it? I want to put it here. Yeah, let's get that drain down. Let's make sure my opponent doesn't collect any Faeria. Now, all we're going to see now is a little shimmy here, which is fine, because I don't mind just running this into Cypher. It gets me 2 damage. Because then I'm just going to be drawing for Flame Burst. Worst case scenario is this just gets removed by like a Flame Burst Cypher's Wrath, or maybe like +1 into Crystal Flower. Yeah, he's going to respect it. And what's really good about, what I really like about this line is it forces the Cypher across. Or it does, or maybe not. Maybe the Cypher decides to sit there. That's actually just a little bit better. So yeah, he's playing very smart there, just making sure the Cypher gets to sit there for a moment. Alright, we're going to draw cards, guys. Cypher's Wrath. Alright, we're closing in, but that Wood Elemental, he's ready for business. He's going to be punching my orb. Or maybe just punching the drain. So this is a really... It's a really intimidating moment for my opponent, simply because you kind of have to kill the Grimguard, right? Because if you don't, I get so much value off it. This can move. It's going to get Flame Burst by the looks of it. So there's a Flame Burst. Okay. Punch me for 2. I'm going to pass. I think let's keep drawing. Grimguard. Very close. Now I'm going to get a refund off the Brigand. Oh, and then the Grove Caller to finish me off. Well played. Well played. You know, it was tough. It was a tough match for me, but I feel that that was a good game overall. I enjoyed it. It was very back and forth. I didn't really get to do what I wanted, which when, you know, as we saw from the first game, when Red Rush gets going, absolute nightmare to stop. But yeah, I felt that was a really solid match. Well played, my friend. You know, we had a great game there, very back and forth. Again, that Cypher as well. Me just kind of ignoring it and trying to get that damage in to finish off the match. But ultimately, the Cypher being the winner for the entire match. They're just cleaning up my threats. And yeah, just finished me off with the Grove Caller there. So good game, 1-1 so far. Let's get into another match and see if we can do any better. Alright guys, into another match. The Dream Draw here. We're just going to throw away the Brigand. Hopefully hoping to get the Queen's Guard there, but look at this. Absolutely beautiful. The Faceman and the Imperial Drain for maximum smoke. Let's see what happens. Ooh, Lake in front. I like it. I will take it. So double neutral. We have Explore now to help us maneuver around, say, like a Water Elemental play. It's going to be some form of ramp deck. I can just try and close us off. That's fine, because now I can definitely get this Mace Man down. I might play it away from this simply because Elderwood Embrace is such a massive threat here. So we can just get this down. And then we could just go for the Drain. I think I might just keep the Drain for now, because we get the Drain, only collects 1 Faeria, and I want to collect off this well myself. So let's just ignore it for now. Let's utilize the Faeria collection. I'm more likely going to see a land here move across, which is fine. It very much depends what defenders come down in the situation. Tiki Caretaker, just going to power this up. I think it was supposed to power up itself. Hard to say. Yeah, I'm going to get this mountain down. Feels good. Yeah, let's get the Drain down. Let's start chipping away. 6 Faeria to work with next turn. We're very close to Frog Tosser, which is a little bit of a concern. Yeah, I want to collect off this well as too, so I don't think I play the Drain just yet. Let's just hold on to it. Timing your Drains can be quite interesting, because you have to weigh up, like, if you're collecting off the wells as well, do you want to keep the Imperial Drain in the hand and wait for a point where, say, I lose board control, which I think is the best place for Imperial Drain unless you've got like a really oppressive start against your opponent. You wait for those moments where, okay, I've lost board control, I don't have anything left on board, so now I can just drop the Imperial Drain and make sure my opponent doesn't collect additional Faeria while I rebuild my forces. And if you decide to go for a more oppressive start, like I said, I had in the first game, the Queen's Guard, with a Mace Man, dropping an Imperial Drain there could be good, because your opponent's basically never going to get enough Faeria to hold them back. Very shifty Octopus there, and a Gift of Rakoa. So lots of solid cards here to defend going forward. Alright. Take the mountain. We do want to push some face damage this turn. I think we just drop raw power down at this point. This can shimmy and clear. The Axe Grind is not going to get a tremendous amount of value, so perhaps I just Grimguard here and take the extra 2 damage to the orb. Because if I play Axe Grinder, this just moves here or moves here and just clears the Mace Man, and this trades off with the Axe Grinder. Very clean The question is, do I really mind? Because if I draw removal going into the next turn, if I draw like a Ground Shake or a Cypher's Wrath, I could be in a good position. It's a tough one. We could go all in just hoping that, you know, they fight. Then I can use the Grimguard late to the push damage. Okay, we're going to try this out. Let's see how this plays out. We're locking out Faeria Collection as well, so making sure our opponent doesn't get any additional Faeria. So say the Ground Shake, say the Wood Elemental wanted to shift back because of a Frog Tosser available. I'm stopping that extra Faeria. So actually, I don't think a Frog Tosser would make a difference here. So yeah, it's going to take all the value hits, which we expected, to be honest. We're playing into this right now. We're just hoping to top deck some good stuff. Ground Shakers, Cypher's Wrath. Ground Shaker is pretty much the top deck I want the most, simply because I can use Ground Shaker to finish this off, and then I can use Flame Burst to finish this off, and I have a 5/6 down, and then my opponent has to answer that, and it's outside of the range of Frog Tosser, which is always very, very nice. Let's throw an aggressive Lake. I like it. Yep. Yep. Yakapult! The spice. Oh, I didn't draw like a god this time. Okay. I really don't like Flame Burst here. I think I just Queen's Guard in this position and force these guys to run into it. Or I Queen's Guard here and force... the Yaks are problem. I don't care if Yaks are down here. I don't really want any Yaks in this position, simply because it's just extra defenders. And that's not what I want to have to deal with. +1. +1 into what? Into Frogify. Sad times. So I get no Faeria back from that. And the Yakapult flings a little yak down here to cause some trouble. So Grimguard lines up quite nicely here, actually. Keep drawing. Just go for a Grimguard. So Power Up is my worst enemy right now. An Elderwood Embrace would be pretty tragic. We've already seen a Gift of Rakoa. So this the Yak's in an awkward position until the next turn. So it needs to move down and hit my face. And then it needs to shimmy across on the follow-up. Unless my opponent decides to build land, which actually I think this is pretty good. Build land, get the 2 damage, get an extra Yak, and then on the follow-up, this Yak moves here, this Yak moves here, and then another hit from the Yakapult can come off. So I do like that. This is quite nice. So let's draw a Cypher's Wrath. Woo! Feels good, guys. So these Flame Bursts are going to add up now. So that's it. That's going to be lethal. A double Flame Burst in hand to Grimguard. See what happens to this. Might just get Frogified, which is a pretty solid answer, I think. Just Frogify. It's still pretty bad though. Still a hard position to be in. +1. Can't Skywhale. Just going to be the Frogify there. Into the Wood Elemental to keep it in check. I like it. So yeah, we can clear this. Cypher's Wrath. That's just lethal there. Could have another taunt. Could have a Frog Tosser, I guess. Maybe the Brigand was just a little better. Frog Tosser? Queen's Guard, okay. Not a card I was expecting to see. These little Yaks are just chipping away at me very slowly. Might seem a little strange, but I've got a bit of insurance here, because the Grimguard is going to set up lethal for me, but it's also going to stop these yaks from just battering me. Oh, maybe no, I should have played it here, actually. Because now I won't have enough Faeria to double Flame Burst this next turn. So yeah, Grimguard should have just went here and tried to set up lethal. I guess it plays around healing a little bit. I think that's something to consider. You know, just if there is a heal, it just makes this a little better, because I can then finish these guys off and just control the board down here while getting damage in. It's gonna be a lake into a shifting octopus as a taunt, I would imagine. 5/3 taunt. I like it. I'm one off lethal, guys. No, I'm not. I have lethal. What am I talking about? Madman. Absolute madman. Alright, good game. Good game. Why am I one off lethal? What am I talking about? But yeah, good game there. Came back. Had a bit of had some awkwardness to deal with at the start. Yakapult didn't really provide much coverage simply because of its positioning. I wasn't able to kind of challenge my creatures when they were going in, so Yakapult was a little unfortunate there. But yeah, going good so far. We've had one loss, but that was a great game, so I'm happy to lose that one. Let's get into another match, keep going, and see how fast we can climb. Alright guys, another match. We're going to keep the drain. We're just going to mulligan these two. No explore this time. So just double neutral up. And we'll pass. So just waiting, see what happens next. Hopefully I draw a Mace Man. Maybe I draw a Queen's Guard. Nope, didn't draw either. So do we double Mountain potentially? Because I want to play something next turn. I guess I can play Axe Grinder next turn. That is an option. But having the Cypher's Wrath available as well is also very nice. My choices are double neutral Mountain Axe Grinder or Mountain Grimguard. But we're going to go for the double neutral, get the Axe Grinder down. Because if my opponent develops a creature on one side, I'm just going to develop it on the other. It very much depends. Like, if my opponent makes a land here and then makes a creature, it's harder to keep my Axe Grinder protected. But if my opponent goes for a land here and builds a creature here, I can Mountain on this spot and then Axe Grinder. But if a creature comes down here or here, like I said, it's going to be a bit more difficult to keep my Axe Grinder from being answered. And we are playing against red as well, so there's, you know, there's Flame Burst and all sorts of nonsense I have to answer. It's just going to be an old Grimguard, so forcing me down this way with the Explore. I like it. Nice and cheeky. Do I double neutral across? Get that Mace Man down. I won't have a follow-up play. I guess I can follow with the Axe Grinder on the same spot. So yeah, we can do this. Get the Mace Man down. It's going to block off the Grimguard. And then we can go for the Mountain Axe Grinder here on the follow-up, which could work out quite nicely for us. We'll see how it goes. Hopefully this time I'll utilize the Axe Grinder's power up a little bit more. Goes for a draw. Probably looking for Gift of Steel. Or a Cypher's Wrath, something like that. Oh, gonna be a Flame Burst, okay. So we have a Cypher's Wrath follow-up already. So I don't think I'm going to take the Mountain here, because I don't want to play the... I guess I could just play the Axe Grinder into these two, because they still have to both run into it in order to kill it, unless there's a Cypher's Wrath. But if there's a Cypher's Wrath, surely my opponent would just use the Cypher's Wrath. And if there's a Gift of Steel, surely my opponent would just use the Gift of Steel. So I think I actually just take the Axe Grinder here. Maybe I even take it in this spot. No, we'll take it here. Let's get that gift down. Let's get that Imperial Drain down as well. Make sure this Grimguard doesn't collect any Faeria off this well. So I'm giving my opponent 6 Faeria to work with in this position. Might take a draw now that can't collect any Faeria off this well. So I'm kind of just crossing my fingers here, saying hopefully there's not a Gift of Steel. Hopefully there's not Cypher's Wrath. Even if there's a Gift of Steel, it's not too bad because I can double Cypher's Wrath on the follow-up into a Grimguard. Am I getting rewarded or am I getting Cypher's Wrath? Safeguard? Oh my goodness. This is some next level stuff right here. Okay. Queen's Guard. Not a bad draw at all. Let's get another mountain set up. So, Raphael just talking about the new Faeria Friday. If you haven't checked it out, some big news about Faeria and some of the changes that's going to happen with the game. I'll talk about this more next week. We'll do a little video on it and we'll talk about it more in depth. But as I said, Faeria Friday, if you check that out, you can find a link in Discord. You can find it on our website. And there is a lot of changes that are coming, which are good for the game, good for the community. I hope you guys like them. If you have any thoughts on it, be sure to leave a comment in the section below. But back to the match. Queen's Guard proven to be a problem here, simply because I'm going to gain Faeria if this is killed in combat, which is all good for me. I mean, see, this Brigand's not getting any value right now. He's throwing Flame Bursts at it. Let's take a draw. Yep, we're going for aggro Queen's Guard here. So my opponent is going to start gaining some Faeria back. Going to collect off here, go up to 5, can go up to 7 with a hit of the Underground Brigand. And then it could even +1 and go even further and take himself up to 8. But so far it's been really back and forth. I don't feel like I've got ahead yet. I'm still trying to stabilize, get on the board, make sure I can stick there and push some damage. But if a Grimguard comes down to defend, I have this Cypher's Wrath as a follow-up. I'm going to gain a bit of Faeria back as well off this card's ability. So we'll see what happens. I'm smelling a Grimguard here. Another Brigand, okay. Cypher's Wrath for days, guys. So I'm going to move here. Take another aggressive mountain. Feels good. Do I kill this now? I think so. I kill this now. Get my Faeria. Then I'm going to double Cyphers this, so it doesn't gain any value. So my opponent on a very healthy Faeria count, but I have initiative now. I have an active creature on board. A Bomb Slinger's pretty powerful here, actually, but I do have a good follow-up with the Cypher's Wrath. But I'll probably just go for the Grimguard, actually. Gifts of Steel would be lovely. I will take a draw. Okay. Let's take a Grimguard on this side. Now we can really start applying pressure, pushing 4 damage with this every turn. This is locked into the position as well, so I can collect off this well, hit for 4, and then build another Grimguard. Or maybe go for like a removal combo. Depending on what comes down here. And depending on what I draw. Now, one thing I do in card games a lot, and this is across kind of a lot of card games, I plan my turns in advance before I even draw a card. And then I see what I draw and see if it alters that plan. So in this case, for example, it does alter it a little bit because I feel like I just lock this in and then I Flame Burst +1 into Brigand on this side. So this just basically means I keep my Brigand here, I can maybe get some value out of it, and I lock this Ground Shaker into place because I don't really have a good way to finish it right now. So next turn, I'm looking to probably play a Grimguard. I might have to combo some removal, we'll see. But hopefully this lives and I'm able to get some damage off. Now, best case scenario is I draw a Gift of Steel. I Gift of Steel this. I get a refund and I +1 into another Brigand. We're not just going to have that Flame Burst, going to +1 as well. So my opponent, you know, really seeing that Faeria is a very important asset. Mace Man changes my line simply because it trades with the Ground Shaker. So I'm making sure that, you know, these two, if a Horsemaster was to come down now, say, could go Mountain, Horsemaster here, zip this across, then clear this out. Bombslinger is pretty sad, really, but this is actually not too bad because I just have the Cypher's Wrath. The saddest thing is I won't get value out of this because I'm going to have the Cypher's Wrath first and then hit into it. So let's do that. Hit. +1 into Brigand. And then we're going to go into Imperial Drain. Now I am collecting off a well myself. But the reason I've gone into Imperial Drain is because this harvests Faeria for me essentially with its combat ability. So I'm going to allow the Brigand to collect Faeria for me from hitting creatures or the orb, while making it very difficult for my opponent to respond. Just as a firebomb. Absolute madman. All the removal. Right, +1 into Grimguard. So we're just going to keep the pressure up here. My opponent's not going to be harvesting. This is a little more difficult to deal with now, especially off free Faeria. So I'm hoping I'm going to be able to get that damage in this turn. I also have another Imperial Drain ready and waiting. All right. So we have the Brigand. So this is a draw turn for me. I think I just actually move here. No, I need to lock this in. So I think I just drain. I wait for the Ground Shaker on the follow-up. Pre-hitting really doesn't make sense to me here because if my opponent has a Ground Shaker to follow up with somehow, I guess it wouldn't be able to get a Ground Shaker. What could follow up with this? Cypher's Wrath? I mean, if Cypher's Wrath comes down, it comes down anyway, but the Axe Grinder doesn't get to move into this position. Because if I pre-hit and it gets Cypher's Wrath, this Axe Grinder then covers this mountain, which is where I'm hoping to play my Ground Shaker. It's going to move this back. Okay. Gift of Steel. Okay, that works out for us. So we get to Ground Shaker. Right now our next play is going to be a Flame Burst or a Brigand. So we can take a draw into another Ground Shaker. Right, we're getting there, guys. We're at half-life. We're on our way, that's for sure. +1. Horsemaster Gift of Steel could be pretty strong here. Or just Horsemaster into Cypher's Wrath. Oh, Ground Shaker follow-up. It's pretty miserable, but I do get to collect Faeria at least. Double Flame Burst in hand. Yeah, let's pass. So we're just camping the well, basically. Because I'm going to follow it with a Ground Shaker. And I want my Ground Shaker here again. So I'm just sitting here, making the Ground Shaker go into me. And then I can follow it with another Ground Shaker. Which also will not line up quite nicely on the Cypher's Wrath on this if I pick one up. Because I'm going to go into 7 Faeria. So if I draw Cypher's Wrath now, I can go just +1 Ground Shaker Cypher's Wrath, clear the board. Depending if nothing else gets played. Now, my opponent might decide to Grimguard here. Grimguard here, and then make me hit into the Grimguard. And then follow it with a Cypher's Wrath to finish me off. Didn't find it, unfortunately. So what am I going to do next turn? The Ground Shaker's going to be played. I'll have a Faeria remaining. If I harvest, I can go... I don't really want to draw too many cards. That's my problem. I think I +1. Just get the Faeria. See what next turn brings me. I'm slowly getting there, guys. I've used a Flame Burst on a creature. I used a Flame Burst on a Ground Shaker earlier, I believe. So I'm going to be relying perhaps on a Grimguard. I need one more face hit. That's kind of what I need right now. Horsemaster. Hits. Cypher's Wrath. This is not too bad because it does allow us to go in. Yes, so I have a pretty nice line here. Now I'm playing this in the middle because I want to be able to hit my opponent's orb guaranteed. Because if Grimguard comes down here, I can hit with the Axe Grinder, I can then Gift of Steel, hit face, and go from there. If a Grimguard comes here, I basically just gain Faeria, collect, hit, and one of these cards in my hand. So I'm trying to make sure I can get a lethal here. Now, what my opponent can do, my opponent can go into a Horsemaster, say here, zip this back up, hit me, but I gain a lot of Faeria back, and go from there. Maybe +1 into a Brigand. It's a difficult situation. I felt like the Horsemaster, I think the Horsemaster being played aggressively was a bit too ambitious. But you have to win the game at some point, right? You can't just sit there defending forever. Goes into +1, okay. Into Axe Grinder. Into Gift of Steel, go in face. So just going for it now. If I have an answer, I have an answer. And I do have the answer, unfortunately, for my opponent there. Going to be able to hit. Flame Burst face. And that is going to be lethal. So well played to my opponent there. Did a good job of keeping me at bay. But I was able to make that final push in the end. So off to our next match. Let's keep going. Let's keep smoking and climbing the ladder. Alright guys, another match, another smoke. Let's see what we get here. Mace Man, pretty good. I'm happy with that. Didn't get the Imperial Drain, but as you see, I've been lining up my Imperial Drains a little later, depending on how the game plays out. So, yeah, let's see where we go from here. If we can get this win, we can start getting a win streak going, which is always really nice. Mountain into Axe Grinder. Nice little counter there for any Mace Men that show up. I personally would like, I guess, like maybe I just double neutral pass here. I don't think I play Mace Man into this Axe Grinder. Not when I can just curve off to the side here on next turn. So I go Mountain here, and hopefully try and get a Mountain in this spot. It's going to be difficult because my opponent's probably just going to Mountain or Forest, depending on what deck's being played, and then just start building towards this well. It's not the easiest thing for me to manage here. Alright. What's going to happen next? That is the question. Forest or Mountain? Going to be another Mountain. Into a Brigand. Axe Grinder going to shimmy back across. Make life a little bit awkward for me. Now I can double neutral here into the Mace Man. I do play into a bit of removal, but it does set up a nice position for me to attack from in the future, making sure I can get that Axe Grinder spot down, but it does set me behind on the Mountain count. I'm going to have to spend 2 turns setting up Mountains, but I will be able to get an Axe Grinder down on the follow-up, as long as this just doesn't get Bomb Slingered or Firebombed or something like that. So we'll go for this. We won't take the Imperial Drain just yet. Want my opponent to be collecting a bit more Faeria before I throw this baby down. Let's see what the follow-up is. I'm hoping my opponent doesn't have an answer. Bomb Slinger? Yep, it's going to be a bomb slinger. That's fine. And now we Imperial Drain. Now we lock out that Faeria collection. And we have the Ground Shaker into Flame Burst follow-up, or the Ground Shaker into Cypher's Wrath follow-up. It's going to be very, very nice. This is probably just going to shimmy onto my land, which is a little sad. I think I'm okay with it. I got to 11 Faeria, 6. So I do have enough to just clear the board next turn. +1. Yeah, we'll go for a full clear. Gift of Steel, preemptive, Outland Ranger. I do not like this. So what am I going to do instead? Flame Burst, Cypher's Wrath. This gets killed by the Ground Shaker. And then my Ground Shaker does challenge us quite nicely. So yeah, I guess we do that instead. Where do I want my land to be? I guess I could build a land here and I can build a land here. So I can attack from multiple angles. Ground Shaker. Flame Burst. Full board clear. But the Brigand's really good. Especially if there's a Gift of Steel in hand. Because Gift of Steel is going to push this so far beyond my reach. Unless I just top deck Flame Burst. Now if this hits in Cypher's Wrath followed up by a Brigand, that could be a pretty strong line as well. Or followed up by an Axe Grinder. So like, yeah, so like Cypher's Wrath plus the Brigand hit, plus a free cost creature would be a fantastic follow-up for my opponent here. But the best follow-up would just be Gift of Steel. Just slap a Gift of Steel on that Brigand and just take care of that Axe Grinder. You could even... yeah, I think that would just be the best here. I can't think of anything much better than that. Best case scenario for me going forward is the Brigand dies. And if my Ground Shaker dies as well, so be it. But Campfire... oh, there's a Campfire as well, actually. Completely forgot about that. But that's okay, I think, because... yeah, I think that's fine. It's not the worst case scenario, because I can play this. And then if a Horsemaster was to come down, at least he's trade. I get a bit of a Faeria refund. The worst case scenario would be Horsemaster Gift of Steel, and I'm just in the same miserable position I was before. But yeah, we'll see what happens, guys. Takes a draw. Okay. Collect. Drop something nice and strong to defend in this position. Maybe Grimguard. Bombslinger is pretty fantastic in this position as well, because Bombslinger just negates any Vatier. So Bombslinger, pretty amazing. I hope I draw Imperial Drain. That's probably my best draw here. Okay. Okay, guys, we're still in this match. We're gonna wait. We're gonna hope that we're gonna cross our fingers, pray to RNGesus, and hope to draw that Ground Shaker, because Ground Shaker here is amazing. Unless another Gift of Steel comes down. There it is. I'm gonna block. Didn't draw it anyway. Right, take a draw. No! And there it is, the Ground Shaker. Feels bad, guys. I think we wait. I can't have this killing my Ground Shaker. Not without some effort, at least. Because if I draw Flame Burst now, I can Ground Shake a Flame Burst, and I can just take care of both of these. Does this move back? That's my question. To set up collection for the follow-up. This might move to the middle, actually, because then this sets up a good Horsemaster line. Alright, so Flame Burst, guys. Give it to me. No Flame Burst. Take a draw. Face Man. Do I just Face Man here? It's not really going face, but I can at least trade off with the Brigand, or at least in theory trade off with the Brigand. There could be a Firebomb in hand. How often do I just throw the Ground Shaker under the bus here? Just say, look, Ground Shaker, your job is to kill this guy. If you kill a Brigand in the process, that's great. Because then that means I can just put an Axe Grinder here and start getting my aggression going. I don't want to dance around this card for too long, so let's take the Ground Shaker. Could actually take the Brigand instead. Because then we'll gain 2 Faeria from this being cleared, unless it gets Flame Bursted. Now, I think we take the Brigand, because then we can follow up with a +1 Ground Shaker if this dies in combat. We'll see what happens. I'm hoping El Capitan, as I like to call him, isn't in the deck, simply because I don't want to deal with any more Gift of Steals. We've already seen 2 on this Brigand alone. Oh, is this the 3rd now? Actually, this is just the 3rd Gift of Steel, so... No, it actually had Campfire, so it was like 2 Gift of Steel and a Campfire. I don't want to deal with any more Gift of Steel, guys. I'm pretty happy with Gift of Steel just being out of the equation. So we're just going to trade off the +1 to Garadan. Garadan's really nice here. On the right-hand side. Going to get to double collect as well. Ground Shaker, Cypher's Wrath. Okay, not as good as Garadan. I guess the worst thing that happened there is didn't get any Faeria back. Didn't get any value. Do we draw? I think we draw for the other drain at this point. Cypher's Wrath. Yeah, let's Cypher's Wrath this. There's no value from it. It's not going to gain any additional Faeria. That works out quite well for me. I'm happy with that. We can probably see Ground Shaker just camp my mountain. Takes a draw. That's fine. There are going to be Horsemasters in this. This looks like mid-red to me, especially after seeing that Outland Ranger. Right, I have an interesting choice here. I could just Mace Man in between the wells and start double collecting. Because there's no way you can Bomb Slinger it. Realistically. Because it'll be played on this tile. This can move here, make a mountain. Not enough to Bomb Slinger it. Could play Axe Grinder +1. Leaves me on 2. That leads up to a Ground Shaker follow-up on this if it gets cleared. I think I like that a little bit better. Go for the Axe Grinder +1, have 2 Faeria, go into the next turn, gain 3, +1 Ground Shaker, finish this guy off. However, if I go for the double collector, if this doesn't get answered, like I'm gonna be in a pretty happy place because I'm gonna be able to basically fund my aggression for a very, very long time. Part of me just wants to play the aggro, guys. I think I'm just gonna go for the aggro line here. We'll see what happens on the follow-up. 10 Faeria to work with, pretty devastating actually. It's a lot of Faeria. This Ground Shaker is more than likely going to collect. +1. It's not going to be a Garrodan for sure. Another Ground Shaker into Flame Burst. So 2 Ground Shakers just sitting nice and pretty there, making life a little difficult for me. Yeah, it's going to be +1 Ground Shaker for me. Putting it to the left-hand side here to make sure both Ground Shakers can have an influence in this. I'm basically forcing my opponent to have more answers, but with a handful of cards, answers are going to be there. Answers are going to show up. I need my Grimguard to get value in the long term now. +1. I really like how my opponent's using the +1 to keep in the match through Faeria. Ground Shaker. Okay. Okay. Cohen Reveler. Interesting. Yeah, let's kill this before it gets campfired. I don't want to have to Flame Burst this card, so I'm using my Cypher's Wrath where I can. I think maybe I just build towards a Gift of Steel play. Like, Grimguard into Gift of Steel. So that's 7 Faeria altogether. We'll be able to do it next turn. Might see a Horsemaster. I don't know, I don't like not having a card on my mountain there. But I have 5 Faeria to work with next turn. I can pass. Then I can play Grimguard Gift of Steel. See what happens. Grimguard Gift of Steel. Grimguard double Gift of Steel is what I'd prefer, to be honest. If I draw another Gift of Steel off the top, then I can just go Grimguard double Gift of Steel. Just slap it right in the middle there. Or slap it on the left-hand side just to make it more awkward for my opponent to answer. That's the dream, guys. Just drawing that extra Gift of Steel to make sure I have just a bulky Grimguard. Just make it very difficult for my opponent to clear it out. That's for a mountain. Maybe just into an Axe Grinder here. Not gonna cover me there. Oh my goodness. Okay. Oh man, this is tough because that was a really clever move. That's making me Grimguard double Gift of Steel very difficult to do now. I mean, I can still do it. Both Grimguards will die in the process. And then Cypher's Wrath could come down and finish off my Grimguard. There is the question of the Faceman coming down here as a defender, which means I won't be able to Grimguard double Gift of Steel on the follow-up. This is a tough one. Maybe I Grimguard Gift of Steel down the bottom. I don't know if I have the luxury of playing aggressive here. Or maybe I just Faceman. Faceman seems okay. This way I can't be bomb slingered. My opponent is try collecting. I'm not really collecting anything, so this is kind of delaying the inevitable at this point. Very smart move to that ground shake. Really well played there. Just moving there, making sure I can't play a creature down. Maybe he was thinking, you know, Grimguard double Gift of Steel would be a big problem if it came down in this position. Should be no surprise. Oh, I could just move and bomb slinger, right? Is it gonna be a firebomb? Double Cypher's Wrath? Ouch. Not looking good at all, right? And that can be Horsemastered down. Oh my goodness. Feels bad, guys. I don't think I can win from this position. I was dancing around here too much. Maybe I should... I mean, there was the answer to the Grimguard Gift of Steel, which would be 2 hits. 4... My opponent would have 7 life left. Flame Burst, yeah, it's not enough. Yeah, unfortunately not really enough here to keep me in the match. But I'm going to say, yeah, well played to here. There's no way I can do this. And that's going to be it for this episode. Red Rush, mixed results overall. Had some interesting games. A lot of my opponents knew how to fight it, so that wasn't in my favor. But yeah, overall, not bad, not great, but it was cool to play Red Rush once again. And that wraps up this episode of Become a God. A little iffy with how it performed. It might have been my play mainly, since I haven't played Red Rush that recently. I can't really see where it is in the meta, but it did perform very well for Happyjo in the Aurora Open. But that does wrap up this episode. Next episode, I'm not entirely sure what to play now. I don't know if I'll even get to God rank, but next season I'll have a fresh new start and hopefully I'll be able to climb very quickly. So if you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, drop a subscribe to keep up to date of when our content goes live. Be sure to check out other episodes of Become a God. You can also find out more about Pandora as well if you want to check out Journey into Pandora, or take a look at my top 10 treasures. So until next time, guys, take care and enjoy Red Rush.